Because I'm absolutely crap at live sales pitches, I've had to do a pre-record, all right? So here goes. Are you looking for top quality tea and coffee? Well, look no further than the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. Owned by a fellow West Ham fan, David. Whether you're after a loose leaf tea with health benefits, tea bags, my personal favourite is Pluckley tea, or a wide selection of coffee beans or grounds, they've got you covered. As a bonus, use a discount code Claret15 at checkout and get 15% off your order. Quality brews at a great price. What more could you ask for? That weren't too bad, was it? Right, on with the show. The Daily Ramble Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a Daily Ramble, recorded the evening before. I've been on the phone a lot this afternoon, just trying to get to the bottom of what is happening at West Ham. There's so many stories out there. It's kind of, you don't know what to believe. So I've made a few phone calls to people that can kind of set me straight. I'm still none the wiser because I'm just not too sure that the board are entirely sure or connected or aligned with what the next steps are. Should Lopetegui do what feels like the inevitable now, and that is lose against Everton or not win convincingly if you listen to The Athletic. It's gone from it's a must-win to a must-win convincingly. So it sounds like he's doomed and he's gone. But we're going to go on to talk about the next steps, which is completely quite harrowing from what I'm being told. It should be exciting at this point. Not exciting because Lopetegui's failing and because he's going to be replaced. That's never nice. Whether you like him, you're not, whatever else. This hasn't worked for him. He ain't come in to fail. He's come in. It is failing. It has failed. He's not going to be here very long. Whether he manages to scrape a result against Everton, the writing is on the wall, 100%. It's not going to work here for him. But before we go into that, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We've had a lovely influx of new subscribers lately, so welcome aboard, everyone. So please, if you are a long-time watcher and you haven't clicked that button yet, just do it. It's free to do so. It does help us out. Don't forget, most importantly, click that like button. All right? Okay. I don't really know where to start. A lot of this, a lot of my investigations, if you like, if you want to call it investigations, digging for the truth, if you can find it in amongst all the shit that's out there, came courtesy of Dave from Raynham today. Dave from Raynham, our youth correspondent, who's grown very frustrated because youth? What youth? We're never going to see it, are we? Certainly not at the moment. Well, he sent me through the odds of the next managers, and you had Potter at 6-4, Terzic, similar odds, and then you had Southgate at 2-1. Certainly none of the managers that I've been given a heads up about were anywhere to be seen. They're not. Some of them ain't even on that list. Now, whether or not that's good or bad, I know that the person that I talk to does operate a little bit differently to the rest, so it's less likely to get out. Some of the managers that have had talks before via this guy don't go viral. So look, maybe it's all panic about nothing. You can't always go by the odds, but I am concerned. And first of all, I'm going to talk about why I'm concerned about these managers that are currently shortlisted and kind of as the next potential replacements. So let's take it for granted that Lopetegui fails either this weekend or somewhere else. Where do we go next? Thankfully, David Moyes isn't on that list. That's good. I'm happy about that. I am happy about that. But this is a very sensitive situation. As we've found with Lopetegui, when you go for a manager that the fans don't want and are not excited about, that manager's on a hide into nothing. They don't get any time. They're not going to. Now, with Lopetegui, I can understand it. Most of us, even though those that didn't want him, when he came in, we tried to jump on board with it. We tried to sort of get involved and back him, but you could see very early on the warning signs were there, massive red flags all over the place. And it's got worse as time's gone on. We're now 10 games in, we're no better off. We can see what's going to happen, and it hasn't taken long for everyone to turn. And this is the thing. Whereas under David Moyes, there was a fan divide. It was, you could say 50-50, and that reduced down, but it was still a sizable divide of fans that wanted David Moyes out versus fans that wanted him to stay. So it was a split in the fan base. Doesn't matter what the ratio was. It's unhealthy. There isn't with Lopetegui. There's a couple of people that will say, I think we're going too soon. We should give him more time. But no one's backing him. No one would be upset if Lopetegui went. Very few people. Very few people would be. The fan base do seem to be united behind the idea of Lopetegui being moved on, which, I suppose in one respect it's refreshing to have the West Ham fans united. It's just a shame that it's over something so harrowing like this. But it's been bad enough with Lopetegui. If we have to change him after 10 games, the next appointment, there's going to be even more scrutiny on the next appointment, and there's going to be even more frustration. We've just had our bubble burst. We were all full of anticipation and excitement following the exit of David Moyes. What's coming next? We saw all those players coming in. Best window ever. And we've got Lopetegui, a bloke who, most of us didn't really want, but you're like, oh, yeah, but it's fine. We've got a great squad. It's going to be okay. Kind of talked ourselves into it. But our initial fears have been confirmed that it was a stupid appointment, going out, getting damaged goods and just hoping that it comes good just because it was cheap, And I've heard the alternatives to Lopetegui as well. I've seen it elsewhere today, actually. We were all talking about Amorim. Apparently Hansi Flick was another one. We could have had Hansi Flick or Lopetegui. Hansi Flick, who's absolutely smashing it up with Barcelona at the moment, with all the young kids doing well. That's just another kick in the nuts, really. Which I'm assuming Hansi Flick would have been Tim Steiten's pick, fellow Germans. But it wasn't meant to be. We went with Lopetegui, and now we're in a situation where Lopetegui is going to be moved on after 10 games. We've had a dreadful start. The fan base are not happy at all. There's pressure on the next guy that comes in. Massive, massive pressure. Huge. They're not going to get much time. They're going to have to kick on straight away. And it's even going to be more difficult for them than it was for Lopetegui. He had a pre-season, albeit it didn't have all of his players, but he had a pre-season. We're talking about throwing a guy into the middle of a season, 10 games in, under pressure, probably after Everton, where the first 2 games are Newcastle and Arsenal. It's massive pressure. They've got to get it right. So they can't go out and recruit another unpopular manager, because these managers, straight from the off, are on a hide into nothing. Now, there are some people that are like Potter, and there are some people that don't want him. It's another split thing with Potter. It is. I wouldn't be dead against it. I'm nervous about Potter because he was successful at Brighton, who have all their foundations in place. Everything behind the scenes, everything that underpins the head coach is perfect. They're a well-oiled machine. We're a shit show. We are. It's completely different. Chelsea are a shit show. He crashed and burned. And the other thing I'm worried about is you never know how a failure is going to affect the mentality of a manager. You don't know. You don't know. It could have damaged him. I don't think we can afford to find out. If he comes in and either the football isn't right, we're seeing similar signs to what we're seeing now. Players don't look inspired. There's going to be a similar reaction, and it's going to be even worse if Sullivan gets it wrong again because he's gone for the cheap option. And if it's because he's gone for the cheap option, which is another free manager, there's going to be hell to pay. It's going to be worse than this with Lopetegui. You're going to be looking at Burnley 2.0 times 2. That's the type of level of frustration that we're looking at here. I believe that's where it's going to be going. The other one is Terzic. I can't see that happening because he's probably too young and hasn't got enough experience, even though he's managed Dortmund. That's kind of the line that does get spun with young managers. I can't see it. Plus, he is a pragmatist, but he's another one. If he comes in and it don't kick on, it's not going to go well for him. The other one, Southgate. Oh my God, wouldn't that just be the perfect storm? Because that would be doomed to fail from the start. He was universally hated, more or less, in the England role. Everyone wanted him out. We couldn't stand his football. He was boring the tits off of us. If he came in and he's boring, he's a boring manager. There's no charisma there. There's nothing. He's not an inspiring man. He had success bringing through a crop of youth players that he was with from the from I suppose, the academy of England. He was with them all the way through. This is different. He weren't a successful club manager. He's been out of club management for ages. International football and club football are chalk and cheese. They're completely different. No, not Southgate. Please, God. It would be a mess. It would be a mess. Lose to Newcastle, lose to Arsenal. It's going to be on top of him straight away. It's going to get worse. There's only one thing that Sullivan can do, in my opinion, and that is go for one of the more ambitious options which are on the table for him. And I know they're on the table for him. I know they are. There's a lot of us that have been saying who would work for Sullivan, who would do this. Well, it appears there's a lot that would. There's a lot. A lot of the reasons why we end up in situations where we don't end up with our first choice managers is down to lack of ambition from Sullivan. He likes to have grateful managers. The mould of a manager that he likes is for somebody to be a little bit broken, to really, be appreciative of the opportunity that Sullivan has given them, and to be a lapdog to a degree. Even Lopetegui, who we know isn't a yes man, but he's got to be grateful for his position. We've given him a chance. That is a type of profile of manager that Sullivan wants. Somebody that comes in who's Billy Big Bollocks and wants to come in and be bigger than me. I'm the boss. As John was saying on his video. Brilliant video, by the way, yesterday. I'm the boss. I'm the big ego here. You work for me. You work for me. He doesn't really want anyone to get the adulation, I almost feel like he was a little bit jealous of Slaven Bilic, because I feel like he sabotaged Bilic in the season when we moved into this stadium. So I do think there is a serious problem that needs to be fixed. And going back to sort of Graham Potter working well at Brighton with a well-oiled machine, it's that does need to be fixed. If we can't get that, and we can't get that in place at the moment, which is highly likely, it's not going to be changed overnight. It's not. We're a mess. We're a shit show behind the scenes. We're going to need somebody to come in who... we're going to need a captain. We're going to need a leader. As John said, we don't have a leader at the club. We don't. We're going to need a top manager. And there are top managers. There's one in particular that would change the path of West Ham, put us back on the map completely. We'd all stop moaning, even me. I'd stop moaning if something like that happened, because the only way you get a man like this in who is interested in this job is if the board can prove to him, and he's no mug, is if the board can prove to him that they are ambitious and they share his ambitions. He's not going to be coming in to do anything other than win and challenge for stuff. And that's him and a raft of others as well in the right profile. They're not coming in. It's only going to be desperate managers that come in to save a club from relegation and do stuff like that. This isn't that type of. This isn't that profile of manager. We need someone with a big name, that can come in and put his stamp on the club behind the scenes, have authority, be the boss. Also, be the type of figure where the players will look at him and go, "Fucking hell, that's a name," So, somebody who's got a history of working with big egos and big characters. Somebody that can inspire that team. Somebody where the fans literally have nothing to moan about because we'll go, shit, I was not expecting that. And there are options on the table for that, but it all comes down to what path the board choose. Whether they choose the same path that they've trodden a million times before, and they go for the cheap option, and Sullivan rolls a dice, and he just goes. It's just so frustrating because we've had so many opportunities to push on, but this is as John said on his video. After the cup win, we had the year of being another European team. So we had 3 years in Europe. This is our first year out of Europe. We could start a slide now, but that can be halted. It can be arrested. It can be arrested with a high-profile name, somebody that you bring back in that can put us back on the map. We're on the verge of slipping off of it again when we've only just got on it. European football is important for status. It is. So, for me, Potter, no. Terzic, no. Southgate, fuck, no. God, no. Let's be more ambitious. Sullivan, do the right thing. If you go out there and you get a manager in of the profile, you know what I'm talking about, and all of you that are watching, you know the type of manager that I'm talking about. If you go out and you spend some money and you get a manager in like that, and it fails, we won't be able to throw it back in your face. But you go out and you scrimp and scrape again, mate. I'm telling you, it's not gonna go well. It's not gonna go well. None of us want that. We're fed up of the misery. We are. You're getting old now, mate. Why do you like the stress? Just go out. You spunk so much money on shit players, this, that, the other. Just once, go and spend some money on the person at the club that can actually make a difference. The person at the club that can harness the youth talent that we've got, integrate them into the first team squad, develop them, create some stars. You know, what's the most lucrative deal we've ever done was Declan Rice, a youth player that came through the academy. You know, that's it. There's free money there, Dave. Free money. We just need to get a manager in that can work with our players and bring them in, and also develop the players and keep on increasing the value of the ones that we've already got, the senior players. Such an important role. Just do the right thing. For once, do the right thing. I struggle to understand how you can't see the false economy of going out and getting a crap manager on the cheap. I struggle to see it. You know, even with David Moyes, when you look at the relative success of, you know, the cup win and 3 years in Europe, when you look at the amount of money hemorrhaged in that 5 years, anything that we won in European competitions was pissed away in wasted transfers. Players that we'd bought well over the odds, we'd depreciated them, sold them for nothing. There's an endless amount of them. You know, it could have been managed so much better. And I just pray to God that you do the right thing. I'm not even talking about Tim starting in this video. I've heard people going in on Tim again. I don't even want to talk about that. This is about the manager. Don't do it again. Please just do the right thing. There are managers out there, the names that I've been given, that would make you look amazing. They would. If you brought these managers in, everyone, the media, everyone would go, fucking hell, how have they pulled that off? Why don't you want that for yourself? That's how you make yourself look good. If you're that sensitive about your ego, then actually do something for it. Pull a big boy move. All right? Anyway, look, that's it from me. Let me know what your thoughts are in the video. And let me know what your thoughts are of the managers that we are officially linked with and closest to, you know, the ones that are most likely to come. If you look at the bookies odds, and that's Potter at the top, Terzic in the middle, and Southgate at 2-1. It's terrifying, isn't it? It's terrifying. So yeah, I really hope that we don't fuck up again, because I just don't think there's going to be any coming back from that for a lot of fans. You know, if the same happens again after Lopetegui, and it's because he's chosen another cheap option and he's been unambitious again, and he's just rolled that dice, I think that's going to be enough for a lot of fans to just wash their hands of it. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want to flush out the legacy fans. They don't want all the season ticket holders over there. Maybe they do want people like John to get their season tickets up. Maybe that's what they want. But they're going to get their wish the way this is going, because this ain't fucking fun. All right? Come on, you ones.